But first off, just to warm things up, I need to tell you about my little dog, Ringo. Did I tell you ever talk about my little dog? What's her name now? Laura. Well, Laura, I'll tell you about my little dog, and Ringo was its name. And all that dog would like to do is run up and lick up a lady's skirt and sniff at her. Oh, come the way, you nasty dog, you make my patience lie. Everyone in this here town can lay between my thank you for the glass of beer, will have it for my supper. Damn the man who's got a wife and won't take time to $40 on the board, and 10 more I will pass. And if you don't like my song, you can simply kiss my ask your partner down the line and seat her on a rock. Cause all the pretty girls in this here town have got the biggest cock your pistol Peter Murphy, and don't shoot that thing at me. And now my song has ended, dear. And I will sing no more. I got an apple up my ass, and you can have the core. All right, so that's just invokes abuse.
Snap at this shit.
Now, but I'm going to tell you.
Supposed to do something. No, you're supposed to bellow.
True story about what happened at the Genie Patch up in the Hiwassee Knobs. Now, Hiwassee Knobs is an area famous between Sweetwater and Vaughn Road. And, I mean, this is the kind of place where just 2 weeks ago, the election commissioner officer, Jim Miller, was found, his body is found in the trunk of his car with 2 bullets to the front of his head and 1 bullet to the back of his head. And the police said it was probably Klan out of Vaughn who done it, but no one's even investigated. And, and so they're just, I mean, this is rough country. This is actually where farmers put a little aluminum britches on their chickens so the screech owls don't fucking rape them. And so this is a bad place in the Hiwassee Knobs. And one day I'm driving a Buick LeSabre. I got this old Buick.
Good car, I can say.
My uncle, I just won it off of him.
Some music coming on.
I just bought it off of him in just some sort of deal. We had swapped it over a Super Nintendo and some RC trucks, and now he had this beautiful Sabre, and I think that the one thing I do recall is the sound of it doing about 130 miles an hour in 3rd gear. I won't forget that damn sound. But anyways, I got this Buick Sabre, which runs fine. Only problem is it's a rebuilt wreck, so the roof was melted in. The roof was melted in on the car. So I guess you'd call it a hatchback. And so I'm taking this Buick LeSabre one night, and I'm cutting through the Hiwassee Knobs, and I'm driving in this old church. Now this Hiwassee Knobs is kind of a queer place, and it's queer.
Queer, you mean like weird?
Well, yeah, queer to mean like a weird, and I don't know about how you guys, but queer means weird to me, and gay means kind of happy, but homosexual means like a man that sleeps with another man. So
right,
I would say it's queer.
Right.
And I'm going through this place, and then now there's this place called the Genie Patch, and not many people have been known to go through the Genie Patch at night, because the Genie Patch is possessed by a woman who on a stormy night is often thought to see, to wave out and wave her arms in the air in every thunder burst, and with long black hair coming out of her face, and she got a white skin and 2 black eyeballs and no mouth. And when the lightning strikes, she often calls out the travelers. And and so I'm driving along that night because there's a microburst, because it's the middle of July, so we got a microburst coming up, and I'm just trying to get home before this microburst hits. And so I decided to take me a shortcut off Sands Road through the Hiwassee Knobs. And at that point, I began to get a little scared, a little fear up my neck, and all of a sudden, the lightning crashes, and I see a distant figure off in the distance that went, "Oh, Dolo, help me!" And it's I could barely just make out a woman waving her hands over her head as the lightning struck, and I put a little more lead on that pedal, and brought it. I was doing about 120 on this back road, so I took it out to 140, and hitting this road, I turned onto the improved road. Now this improved road was heading up to this old church, and I've never had much respect for this old church because, to be honest with you, I heard this old church that they had worshipped Satan in it. And in fact, the reason I know this is because there's a headstone there of two brothers in a memento mori of two brothers who had actually been buried at this church and had sold their soul to the devil. And have you ever been to a headstone where they have the photograph of the people?
Yeah, all over Russia they do that.
On the headstone, two people on the headstone, two brothers. Scariest damn thing is at nighttime you can see a man with a goatee, his arm draped over the brothers. Now this freaks someone out enough that they knocked the headstone off, which was crazier. I've been out there one night, and that man's still sitting there with just his arms over no one else, you know, even though the brothers are gone.
That place still has culture.
This is a wicked damn church. And but I got my Buick LeSabre on, and there is nothing playing except for they call it a rodeo by Garth Brooks, and then the lightning comes on, and what you know, it way down that tobacco field where I see that woman. She's a little closer, and I begin to make out what she's saying. And I swear to God, what she's saying is, "Get over here and make me some biscuits. Get over here and make me some biscuits." And she got like electrons and fire flying out of her head, and she got two eyes like raisins pressed into her skull, and no mouth, and lightning flashes. And she's a little closer, and she says, "Get over here and make me some damn biscuits. Get over here and make me some damn biscuits." So man, I just put, I take the stock dual quads on my thing and just press on the accelerator and skidooed towards this damn abandoned church, which I'd never been to before. I figured this is a house of God and no genie woman could come into this, because she's getting closer. And she said, help me, come over here and make me some biscuits." And I retired into this little church, and it was an empty church, and I sat in the front, and and I just waited for the stormers side and fed. Thank God that woman couldn't come in. That woman can't come in through this church. The door's locked. It's a holy place. All of a sudden, lightning strikes, and there she is on the top of the altar. That same damn woman who's got two eyes like raisins pressed into white cookie dough, no nose and no mouth, and a black hair, and she's looking down with this spark shooting out of her hair, and she is saying, "Now come over here and get me some biscuits. Come over here and get me some biscuits." And then the lightning, the microburst really picks up, and she comes up a little closer, and she looks at him and she says, "Come over here and get me some biscuits. Come over here and get me some biscuits." And I'm getting damn near scared. In my head, all I can do is I can hear everything but the goddamn ham frying, and I'm scared as shit, catatonic. And then, and on the second pew, the lightning strikes again. She is closer over, and she says, "Come on, give me some biscuits. Come on, give me some biscuits." And I look dead in her eyes, and wouldn't you know it, there is goddamn Dick Cheney firing a nuclear missile, like poised at the other end, and that thing is willing to come straight through the front of me and clear out the back and take out a microburst over Omaha, which would not be good. Which would have been in the newspaper, no doubt, but maybe the way they report the news nowadays, the sheriff said, "Oh, Omaha fell" or something. And then on the other eye, he had 4 damn werewolves dressed with long-ass Rambo guns and getting ready to chug me down. And I knew that I better give that damn woman some biscuits, because boy, she was a witch. And and then right as the lightning struck the utmost part, she had her hands damn around my throat, and she said, "Boy, you better give me some biscuits." I swear to, oh dear God, I'm about to be murdered on a ghost. How weird could this be, to be murdered by a goddamn ghost? If I could only YouTube this now. And wouldn't you know it, right at that moment, the storm stopped and she disappeared. And I left, and I have not told anyone that story until right here, right now.
Wait, so what is her eye?
Oh, her eyes had just had Dick
saying?
Cheney in one end and George W. Bush on the other. This is in the mid-90s. This was scary.
So basically,
10 years.
lightning struck and you saw the White House.
Yeah, this is not as scary as the story about the time me and Hobart, who wanted to have a party. Hobart invited me to that party out in Appalachia. I didn't approve of that. That was, man. When I moved down to Appalachia, I don't know if you guys know where I'm from, but I'm from this town called Werewolf, Tennessee. And Werewolf, Tennessee isn't that big. And if you can guess by the name, it's just full of like werewolves and
bloodthirsty hounds.
And oftentimes there's screech owls and hoot owls. And Josie, you know what the difference between a screech owl and hoot owl is?
Sure.
The sound they make.
Oh damn! You didn't fall off the tomato truck too long ago. Screech owls and hoot owls sound different, but you wouldn't know how many people say, you know what the difference between screech owls and hoot owls is? They go, I don't know, and like think about it for a second. What's the difference between a screech owl and a hoot owl? And if you hear a screech owl over your head at night, you'll remember that forever, because
like
it sure isn't
screaming.
pleasant. So, but when you hear a hoot owl calling, that means someone about died. But so, anyways, one night I'm going down Ballplay Road, walking down Ballplay Road, and I'm hearing the idle dark bird. And it's about this time, I says, idle dark. The idle dark bird says, idle dark, idle dark. And I had this neighbor named Mark Jones, and Mark Jones, like, that was his nickname, but his Christian name was King Money Jenkins III. So, but everyone called him Mark Jones. And so Mark Jones comes over to my house and taps on my door, my aluminum house trailer, and he says, Hey, Keith, I want to know if we're going to have a big party tonight. And said, well, Mark, you never invite me to them parties, but they sound pretty crazy. And Mark goes, yeah, I tell you what, man, my parties are crazy. I'll warn you right up front. People tend to get pretty drunk. I said, damn, Mark, well, you know, I work in the fucking computer industry, and we like to drink. Because every occupation believes it has some entitlement to drink. Like architects drink a fuck ton, you know, and he said, now I'm going to warn you one other time. I mean, usually at my sort of parties, somebody tends to get an ass whooping. I said, well, shit, Mark, I can hold my own, and I'm a passable guy, so. I can keep it together, and Mark the Shark looks at me one more time, and I'm gonna warn you just one last thing. There's usually some like freaky, raunchy sex in this place, and I'm getting excited. Like, well, hell yeah, man. I mean, I'm there. I mean, is there a dress code or something? Mark slaps his head and said, I wouldn't worry about it, buddy. It's just likely to be you and me.